I think going through Freddie Gray was one of the biggest lessons I learned. I think it's easy to follow what's popular. It's hard to stand up in the face of doing something that's extremely unpopular.
I mean, our job was to represent our clients. That was the bottom line.
Representing 6 of the officers came with a ton of backlash from people living in Baltimore and throughout the U.S. who wanted justice against police brutality.
Freddie Gray was a black male. I'm a black male. You had years of frustration based on police abuse of black males in the black community. So I took a lot of heat. You know, I went to Howard University, undergrad. So a lot of my friends from Howard called and had a lot of criticism. How could you? How could you? But for me, I didn't look at this case other than my client was a black female. I looked at her no differently than anybody who was facing the weight of the system and is innocent until proven guilty.
Bates represented Alicia White, and he says despite receiving hate from people at the time, it was important to him to ensure he did his best to defend White, who still maintains her innocence.
The criminal justice system is mysterious. Things that you believe should happen don't always happen. And it's very hard when you're hearing one side of the story and this is what you believe. But we knew from looking at the evidence that what the story was put out there wasn't what happened. And it was incumbent upon us, having been lawyers and taken the oath, to fight for our clients. And, you know, we all did that.
Although the trials ended in 2016, Baltimore was left with a lingering rise in violence as a result of the uprisings.
You know, violence spiked in 2015 right after Freddie Gray, and it really didn't come down until 2023. I mean, we had 8 years of constant homicides, over 300, and almost 3 times the number of non-fatal shootings. So we're still coming together as a community, still recovering from the events that followed, you know, the death of Freddie Gray.
Flynn says the tragic death of Freddie Gray highlighted a divide within Baltimore City.
It opened their eyes to certain things that were happening in Baltimore, and hopefully it's inspired people to get more involved in the community as a result.
1 year after Gray's death, 500 Baltimore City police officers began wearing body cameras full-time. And 2 years later, the court signed off on a consent decree between Baltimore City and the Department of Justice to improve policing in the city.
Baltimore City Police have made tremendous strides forward, but I think we still have a long way to go to continue earning the trust of the citizens of Baltimore.
Janae Wright, WMAR 2 News.